Oh, I see the live. Here we go.
Yeah, apparently we're live. I'm waiting for my YouTube to start and so I can hit the mute button on it. There it was. It's been so long since we've done a live stream. I forget how all this stuff works.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I got some screens up. This is a very impromptu live stream with no plan.
No.
Other than I texted Pat a minute ago with a picture of 4,999 subscribers. And he said, we should go live and just keep refreshing it. And before we could figure out how to make that happen, it's already at 5,000. All right.
Yep.
And like we can do it this way.
Okay.
There it is.
5,001 now.
Yeah.
I wonder if my mom's already subscribed. Your mom's already subscribed, so it wasn't them. We didn't put the word out or anything. We just let it happen.
Right. And so, like, when you have 5,000 subscribers and you go live, impromptu live at 6:13 on a Saturday night,
right?
I wonder if anybody will join.
Since it's prime time somewhere.
Well, I mean, how long ago was the last live stream? I mean, we did the 19 conversations things where we did a live stream every day.
I feel like the last time you may have used StreamYard, I was not involved. It's when you interviewed Josh Smith. That might have been one of the last times.
Right, and that wouldn't have been live.
Right.
That might have been Zoom too.
Okay.
So, oh, look, my wife just said congratulations in the chat.
Look at that. So how do I get to that chat? Maybe on comments. There we go.
Can you see that? Oh yeah, comments.
Yeah. I got away from the chat, went to comments.
There's a supportive woman because she's normally upstairs every time we're recording. So every guitar noise you hear in every video, she hears all the stuff in between.
Right.
And it's loud up there. I've walked up there a couple times when you're playing. It's loud up there.
Well, I can know when I show up at your house whether you started without me or not from the driveway.
Oh,
not terribly loud, but enough.
I don't need to know if the neighbors can hear.
And that's what she said. Well, yeah, she's very understanding. She even lets you drill holes in the ceiling.
Right. That's
something yet to come, right? As far as
well, today would have been the first video.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's somebody else out there. I'm seeing that we have 3 watching. So if it's counting me and my wife,
and
maybe somebody else has joined in. So if you have, say hello, because we really don't have a plan. Talk about whatever, but it is kind of. What did we figure out? 5 years?
Yeah, it'll be 5 years. We'll just turn 5 years, I think. 5 years, like last week.
What day was your son's birthday?
His birthday is on the 16th, and that was Tuesday. I feel like we started a couple days before that we did.
I feel like it was either a couple days before or a couple days after.
Right.
So it's almost like exactly 5 years. So we're averaging about 1,000 a year right now, which is not true because that first couple of years didn't grow that fast.
Yeah, and it's been all organic too. We've never had like mass emails go out to our friends or texts and telling people to subscribe. We just do it on the videos, and so it's happened organically, which I like that.
I think the first 2 years we didn't even ask people to subscribe.
Probably not.
Or maybe ask them at the very end or something. We didn't put it up into the front of the videos until later on.
We asked them at the very end of our previously 35 to 40 minute videos.
That nobody would have been watching anyway. Oh, hey, Kane. Kane said he's a subscriber found because of the barber pedals.
Oh, there you go.
The barber pedals. We're hoping to get him into a live stream at some point.
Yeah, you kind of did a little test run of at least how he could play in a room with us, but and I think he's also set up down at his place to be able to do that, at least talk.
At least talk, because he's done some live streams with 5 Watt World now.
Right. Yeah, with Keith Williams. Right. Yep.
So he's set up that he could do some live streams. He is probably a better setup right now than you and I do, because we're still around with old stuff. But that's awesome, Kane. We're big fans. I said somewhere recently, the first video we ever did had the electronics direct drive in.
Yeah. But what 2 pedals would you take to a gig?
And we did not know Dave. In fact, I drove down to his shop to pick that pedal up like 20 years ago, and he was upstairs. He wasn't even in there. And just
it wasn't even where he is now.
Right. Yeah. Because he's in different town now. But on a fluke, we reached out to him like, hey, you want to do an interview? And he's like 40 minutes down the road.
Yeah, about that. Maybe a little shy of that, but close, yeah.
And came over here and did that. And so, yeah, that's cool. Oh my gosh, that dude. He's unbelievable. His like depth of knowledge and just like everything guitar.
Well, yeah, I mean, so we kind of gathered that from the first visit to your house. He brought a guitar, but he drove through a torrential downpour and was having some kind of migraine. And, you know, he rolls in at 8 p.m. and we usually wrap up at like 9:30. So there was no playing that happened that night, but there was talking. And then I went down to his shop at one point. He wanted to check out a couple of guitars that we got in, and that was the first time I saw him play. And I was like, oh my, he's really good.
Yeah. And if you want to play like a really well set up guitar, play one of his.
Yes.
Kane, we're in PA. Kane asked what state we were in. Okay. In PA, and yeah, we have a game changer too.
Yes, we do.
We have a lot of his pedals. I watch all your envelope series back and forth 3 or 4 times. I'm still trying to understand what to pick. What you preferred at the end of the series? Oh, that's like my.
That's which one's your favorite child, right?
Right. That's the one I dread the most. That's the question I always dread.
I mean, for me, I like the simplicity of that style pedal because it can get, in my opinion, a little complicated with the relationship between the various controls on those pedals. So I find something like the, unfortunately, who's the guy that just passed away?
Carl Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's cool. And
that Carl Martin was easy to use. Yeah. So, you know, it sounded good too, but so my answer would be based on ease of use, which may not be what someone really is asking about. But by the way, welcome in Sprinkles Hour.
Oh yeah. So I went through a bunch of envelope filters before we ever started doing the YouTube thing and landed on the Rubber Chicken from Lead Pedal. I thought for sure throughout that whole series that I would change that, and it never left my board. It's always been on my board. So for me, that one has been, and it could just be because I know how to use it, but I'm terrified that Pat's grandson is going to go over and turn the knobs on it, because if he does, it will take me 6 months to get it back to the sound I like. But I don't know.
My grandson is at my house and just woke up. This guy.
There's a lot of really good ones. I like, the Dusk was really good, but that has a lot of like really strange features in it. Do you know what's good? The EA Electro Harmonix, the Nano, the small one. That was pretty easy to use too, and it's a good price point for an envelope filter. There's a lot of good ones in there. Kane asks if we've heard his Chase Tone. Kyle makes some good pedals. His Fuzz Fellow and Secret Preamp. I've heard of them. I'm not sure that we've had any Chase Tone. Secret. I'll pull it up here in a second. So Chase Tones in Pennsylvania. Hey, there's BB Made. BB sent us that Leslie pedal.
Right.
Chase Tone. I'm pulling up Chase Tone in another
Well, while you're
window.
doing that, Kane is in the same city as they make the special cranker, Earthquaker devices. They're in Akron.
Boring watching, looking at me. I'm looking at the website, the Chase Tone website. I have it up. I'll look at it more. Hey, thanks, BB Made, for the congrats. You've been here since the beginning. We appreciate that. It's fun to see the names of people that have been around since we just were starting out with this thing and playing around with it. Envelope filters. What else? That's a hard. I mean, Sprinkles. I keep coming back to that question. That's a hard question. The Keeley Neutrino is good. The Emma discombobulator that Warren Haynes uses is good. Love Puddle does these like sales sometimes where he posts stuff like on a Saturday night special on his like Shopify page. If you get on his mailing list, just a couple weeks ago, that Love Pedal rubber chicken showed up on there for like $100. That I like.
That's a deal.
Yeah. I'm looking over there at the envelope. I'd have to walk over. Oh, you know what's really good? The Spectrum from Source Audio.
I was going to mention that's the one you just played in the Epiphone Greenie episode.
Yeah, that thing's crazy. It's not an analog one; it's a digital one, but it has so many crazy sounds in it, and so many crazy like aspects to it. That one's cool. Analog Man, Mutron.
Kane is saying that Chase Tone is near Scranton, which that's not super far from us.
Oh, yeah, that's right down the road. That guy that makes cables is there too. I'd like to talk to him someday. A discombobulator and found it was too shrill. Mutron was kind of too shrill. Qtron Plus is very good, but it clips above the neck, and it's very hard to set a proper sound that stays consistent. I don't know that I found the Mutron too shrill, but I found the Mutron really hard to dial in. Like it's the classic, it's the classic envelope filter, but I found it hard to dial in. I think when you get it dialed in, it can be really good, but I found it hard. The discombobulator, yeah, I don't know. It could be. Especially, the thing with the envelope filters is going from one guitar to another. Like, I mean, I could tell you, I have some guitars where the envelope filter sounds great the way I have it set up, and if I'm on a different guitar, you can't even use it. So, like, even the output of your pickups affects that. The way you have your amp set, what you have in front of it, what you have behind it. Some people I know run boost into them. I've never done that. They're so. I feel like they're so picky. The Qtron Plus is good. Yeah, and I remember that little clipping light come on. That's kind of why I like the Nano. I don't think the Nano had the clipping light, and I think I remember that one being really easy to set up. If that makes sense.
No, I agree. That's sort of what I was saying as far as ease of use, right? Like there's a lot of variables within the pedal itself, and then the other ones that you unpack there as far as pickups and signal path and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's if are you using Sprinkles using single coils or using humbuckers? Not that I'm gonna have anything brilliant to say, depending on either.
Right.
Either.
I'm just reading Sprinkles Hour comment there. It says Source Audio guys are saying that envelope filters are susceptible to temperature changes. It's almost like a fuzz pedal. There's a germanium that does that.
Yeah, the germanium fuzzes. I never heard that with an envelope filter.
Well, we can put one in the freezer and see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I find the envelope filter. I probably find it easier with a humbucker guitar. With a single coil, I don't know. Here's the real trick too. Like I love Pat and I have this conversation all the time, but I love to play my volume knob. So a lot of times my amp is set to a place where I wouldn't have the volume all the way up. And because of that, envelope filters are hard because when you roll your volume back, they lose their thing. And so one of the things I found with the Rubber Chicken that I can get with is that I can get it to work with my volume knob. But now I might have a drive pedal on or something with it as well, but I can get it to work with the volume knob. And so that works. Not so much with like a single coil. Like if I have my Strat plugged in, then I feel like you got to have the volume all the way up to make the envelope filter do what it's supposed to do. So sometimes with the hotter pickup, like the hotter humbucker, I don't know if that makes sense. Kind of wondered how John Mayer made the Qtron work with the gain and peak set to 0, even with a similar gear and boosts and stuff. I can't make it work. I feel like I looked at John Mayer's settings. I feel like I looked at John Mayer's.
How he has with the dead spec Silver Sky. I wonder. I didn't pay that close attention to the pickups. If they did something different there.
So yeah, I can't remember what settings he had on that. I know that he often has a boost on his rig. It'd be interesting to look at a pedal board of Mayer's and see if the boost is before or after the Qtron. So he might be running like some people. I know, like if you go down that rabbit hole of people that are trying to get the perfect Jerry Garcia sound, they a lot of times will talk about putting a boost in front of the envelope filter. But John, at least in the last tour with that dead spec Silver Sky that Pat just mentioned, he had one of those limbic boost kind of things built into the guitar. And so he could just be hitting that and boosting right out of the guitar into the pedal to get the headroom that he needs to make it trip. But yeah, some of that, I'd love to pretend like I understand it all and know, but I just plug it in, turn knobs forever.
All right.
So, yeah. This is great. I could talk envelope filters all night. Throw them a tremolo question.
Oh, I don't even know about that. Ask me what my favorite color is. That'd be better.
Yeah, I mean the Spectrum's an interesting one. I feel like I've gotten good sounds out of it when we've plugged it in. But it's not an analog one, it's a digital one. But some of those presets in that Epiphone video, the Greenie video we put out today, I think that's just on the preset. It has a little bit of a low octave in it and stuff. It's really cool. I smile every time we plug that pedal in. I smile. So
right,
we still have it sitting on the shelf, so that's not going anywhere. Who else? Anybody else out there? We got a few. It's telling me we have more people watching right now, which is kind of cool.
Stalkers.
Make sure you say hi. I mean, even if you're just popping in for a minute, you don't feel like you have to stick around because you said hi. You can just say hi and hop out. That's cool. Did you see the BB Made had a Epiphone Casino and Gold Sparkle posted on his site the other day?
I don't remember if I saw that or not.
It was on his Instagram page. It was an Epiphone Gold Sparkle. Like, yes.
I approve.
Pat's over there trying to babysit and do a live stream at the same time.
Hold on. His mother is here, but he's just woken up and there's complaining every once in a while. I was just trying to go to Instagram to see BB's page.
Oh. So I should have sent Dave Barber a message and told him to hop on with us, but he would have had to get all the stuff together, I'm sure.
I see it now. That's a pretty sweet guitar.
So BB said it took months to get that guitar. He was convinced it would never be his. He bought it 3 days later and said he could buy it. So it's not for sale, is what you're saying.
Right.
Oh, that's so funny. Somebody had a gold sparkle telly posted earlier today. There's something about the gold sparkle, man.
Something about any sparkle. Gold, silver, blue, green.
I don't think I've. If you ever played a casino?
I don't know that I have.
I don't think I've ever played a casino. And I would like to. I'd like to. I wonder if we could get a newer one in from Zounds. Just to see. How is it, BB?
Well, that's my snobbery. I like Epiphone, as we've learned over here the last few months, they're making really great stuff now. But I like the Epiphones that were Epiphone only, right? Like the Casino and the Sheraton and some of those, instead of them being like the Epiphone version of a Gibson.
So, are we able to? I feel like we used to share pages when we did this. Like I could pull things up. Present. Let's see what this does. Present. Share screen. Share. There we go. So there's what they have for casinos in at Zound. So they have. Oh, here's an Epiphone USA Casino hollow body for $35. That might be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we're only checking on Zounds because they're kind enough to send us stuff to demo and let us send it back to them. And they've been really helpful.
Yeah, we've done mostly, not exclusive, mostly more of a budget guitar. So it'd be interesting to get a higher end one from them.
So how do I stop presenting? So the big question is, oh wait, let me pull one more thing up. The big question, the question of the day, should we try and get them to send us that? Since we did the Epiphone.
And by that, he doesn't mean the 1999, 19,999.
Yeah, I would be afraid. I would be afraid even. Like if they were like, "Oh, sure, we'll send it," I would be afraid to have it here.
Yeah, it would be interesting to get that in because I didn't know that. Well, I don't know with some of the, like I said, the collector's choice guitars that they made. I feel like this, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like this is the first one that Gibson / Epiphone has done multiple versions of the same guitar. Maybe they did that with Slash, but I don't know that they made that mid-range one. I don't know, or the super high-end one.
So here's an Epiphone Slash for $799. A Gibson Slash for $31.99. But I'm not sure that's kind of the same. I'm not sure. I can't imagine the $799 Epiphone Slash is the same thing they did with the Greenie.
Right. I agree with that because I'm not sure if that was done in conjunction with the custom shop. And then I don't know if they did the collector's choice version of that Slash. It's been a while and they probably wouldn't be available because they do limited runs of those.
Right.
I feel like the one Brody has is based on the Sebastian burst that Gordon Kennedy has, and I want to say they maybe made 200 of those. Maybe that might be a high number.
Huh. I don't know. It would be interesting to it would be interesting to do what we did with the Les Paul Juniors, to put them back to back and see what the difference is.
Right.
Because, I mean, theoretically, the necks should feel the same. They have the same humbuckers in them. They should be pretty close.
Yeah, I agree with that. Based on my fuzzy recollection of our comparison, I feel like there was a lot of similarity.
Well, I mean, the specials, the necks were totally different. But both of these, the necks should be off the same. They're patterned after that original guitar.
Right, right.
Like
Straight
they're
out of the
talking about
MRI machine.
how they scanned it and stuff. So the neck profile should be exactly the same on both guitars.
Right.
And the humbuckers are the same. So, I don't know. Should be interesting. All right. So, anything else? Anything else worth talking about? It says 5,000 subs, 500,000, 5,000 subs.
500, because it went to 5,001 at one point. Are we back down to someone thought they were the 5,000th one, realized they weren't, and they unsubscribed?
Oh, I don't know. Is it at?
It's at 5,001 now.
It's at 5,001. It is. I just had to click off that. It's crazy.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that envelope photo short I put out. Gosh, I'm so dumb too. I pulled up all those videos and clipped out those clips. And then I remembered I did a comparison video at one time that I probably could have clipped them all out of one video.
Right.
I mean, it took like an hour. It took like 2 hours to make that 1 minute video, but it's been watched 1.4 thousand or 1,400 times, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
For one of our little shorts.
Yeah, so that's the thing we're trying to figure out. What are the things that enhance our connection to people? Obviously it's shorts, as you've proven that. Like time of day of releasing things, subject matter. I mean, certainly if someone asked us, we'd be like, look at inexpensive guitars, because some of our biggest videos have been on inexpensive guitars. You see Kane's question.
Yeah.
Where does that tiny door behind you lead?
I feel like he's the only person who's ever really realized that. Nobody's ever asked that before. That there's a tiny door.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a crawl space under there. Well, it's basement, but it's only, it's only so tall. It's cement. And it's a real pain in the butt is what it is.
Well, let's put it this way. What guitars are to the Beard, seasonal decorations are to Mrs. Beard. So that crawl space is littered with guitar cases and seasonal decorations.
It's true. It's a true story. Oh my gosh. It's funny. The grandkids love it because they can stand up in there and run around, but it's terrible. Apparently there was think of the house, think of your house like this, right? Our house is like this. It's been broken. Then shifted just a little bit. So like you start to go up the steps and halfway up is the master bedroom. Then you go up more and then there's all the kids' rooms, right? The 3 bedrooms and 3, that are upstairs, which was wonderful when all the kids lived here. They weren't on the same floor, but then they only finished half the basement. They didn't dig that part out.
Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
Well, Mrs. Claus, the Easter Bunny, Thanksgiving turkey. It's not. You're just not a one season wonder.
I mean, if anybody was wondering how we get a Christmas tree on the set,
there you go.
Yeah.
BB Made said that shorts seem cool. His views are always small, but the shorts rack up views pretty quickly, and then hit a wall and stop altogether. Yeah, it is. Well,
yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that because probably being more of an Instagram user than anything else, once you've scrolled through that and you've hit it one time, you're not going back to it. So you either hit it and hit the like button or make a brief comment, but it's a drive by for sure.
It's interesting. I feel like they're doing better. Like at first, I just started clipping some out of videos that were on YouTube, and they're never centered right, and you don't get all the. Now I've been trying to, when I edit the video before I'm done, trying to pull a couple clips out and then editing those clips and putting the pedals up top and putting whatever we used up top. They seem to do a little bit better.
Yeah, those are definitely more interesting. I'm not sure I've seen that in anybody else's clips. I like what you did there with, and then I think from the things that are across the top, probably the Tyler, that pedal, and maybe a second pedal, you then end the short with the main pedal coming down.
Yeah, a couple times. Or if it's a
Yeah.
jam panning back and forth between the two of us.
Right.
Actually, I'm not even sure that they're doing better, but I feel like they look better. So, all right. Thanks. Hey, man, Kane, have a good night. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. The one thing I miss about doing the live streams is we used to get to meet we'd have more conversations with people so that's cool. So
Right.
Appreciate it. So it's not really 5,000 subscribers, Pat, until it's like about 510.
Right, in case people get cold feet.
Yeah, when people bail out, then
still hanging at 5,001.
So I never normally say anything about a turnover until it's a little higher. But 5,000 is cool. That's cool. I mean, we never really did it for it's never really been the goal, but it's kind of cool. It's cool to see it happen.
And like I said earlier, it's been completely organic. I don't know. I've told people about our channel if they're related to guitars, but I've never actively gone and recruited subscribers. Now, I can't say that that's not the case for my mother. I think she's but most of them have some musical interest, but occasionally it's this random person. I'm just like, I'm not sure they're really going to care.
Yeah.
Like maybe those are the ones that hit subscribe and then unsubscribe.
Yeah, I've kind of
like Kane sent us a reminder to check out those pedals, which would be great. I
have their site up. It was the Fuzz Fellow and the secret preamp. I like the sound of secret preamp. It just sounds cool.
Here's the irony of me muting and unmuting. Maybe you can hear that. Maybe you can't hear that. That same grandson right there had me up from like 2 until 6:30 last night, and now he's overtired. There you go. He's gonna be a heavy metal singer.
Look, back to views and stuff. I'm looking at. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at. Did you see the picture where he has that casino hanging on the wall?
Yes, I saw that.
That is a gold sparkle guitar. That is nice.
Well, what's really cool about that is I'm not saying they don't have them, but a lot of times the sparkle guitars are not a semi-hollow or a hollow body that has that big jazz box size. A lot of times they're like single cut or double cuts. That's a lot of territory to sparkle.
Dang, that thing is cool. I take the gold sparkle to play every Christmas Eve.
Mrs. Claus's favorite.
Christmas time, I take the gold sparkle. Yeah, I mean, subs 5,000 on YouTube, and then the whole Instagram thing you mentioned earlier. I think we only have like 800. I keep posting the reels on Instagram, but I don't see a lot of movement over there.
That's where I tend to see them.
Wow, BB. That was originally silver sparkle? That's crazy. Can you put a link in? I'm putting I don't know if this will work. I'm trying to post a link there. That's a link to Instagram. I think that's going to take you to BB's page. It might take you right to the Gold Sparkle guitar, but if you're watching and you don't know what we're talking about, that link might take you right to BB Made's Gold Sparkle. Otherwise, just go to BB Made Guitar on Instagram and check out his photos.
It took me there. I mean, I was there before, but it took me there.
The Gold Sparkle, but he does a lot of stuff on his workbench and stuff too. There's always cool stuff going on his page. So I don't know. Anything else? We don't have enough people feeding us stuff to talk about, I think.
I know, right? Well, it was very impromptu. I mean, we haven't done this for a while, so it's probably good to knock the rust off before we try to pull a David Barber or somebody else in.
Yeah. You know, I feel like the ADHD is showing or something. Back to the shorts. I've been thinking about doing like who was it? Sprinkles Hour asked a couple minutes ago about which envelope filter. I've been thinking about doing some of those. What if we did a couple shorts of like, here's what tremolo pedals we have left on the shelf. Here's what Leslie pedals we have on the shelf. Here's what envelope filters we have left on the shelf after doing those series. I thought that'd be kind of cool.
Right, these were the keepers.
Even guitars too. I've been thinking about that. Maybe we ought to start walking through what guitars that we have sitting around.
Yeah, because I think the last time we did that was on the live streams during our 19 conversations. I think was it a guitar of the day? I don't know if we made it through our cumulative collections or not, but I think we tried to talk about at least one a day.
Might be kind of cool to do that, just to go through all of them for nothing else, for insurance purposes.
Right. Is that like a poor man's copyright? Send it off in a letter to yourself. So it's like video your guitars. Same thing. Call the insurance adjuster. Can you go to my Instagram page and my YouTube page? You'll see what I have.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're going to archive this or where this is going to go, but we've definitely talked about for 2024 to try to get back into some of the interviews and maybe eventually some of the field trips, but definitely interviewing some people.
Yeah, I would like to, especially, I'd like to do that. The running, I feel not qualified for the running and gunning thing, right? Where you take the camera somewhere and you have to do it live.
Right.
I feel unqualified for that. Although we do have some equipment that would allow us to do it, I think.
Yeah, sure. I agree with that.
But the live stream thing, it's just a matter of finding a time that would work. Because it would be nice because I do miss those the chat conversations we had with all those guys back when we were doing that frequently. Oh,
here's the wild shot. He's got rock and roll hair from his nap. This guy already has a number of guitars. He has a Silver Sky SE.
He has a blue guitar.
He's working on the collection, and that's the attention span of an almost 2-year-old. He's gone. He's going into the bathroom, Gemma.
He's probably going to knock over your guitars.
Well, he constantly wants to say he has to go to the bathroom. He's not potty trained yet, but he just likes to wash his hands for like 20 minutes. Very clean hands.
It's a thing. It must be a thing.
Yeah. He's got his own stool that he knows how to put in front of the sink.
We're talking about grandkids. Did you see the comment on I don't remember what video it was on. It was on one video recently where the guy was like, dude on the left looks like a 60-year-old Derek Trucks.
Oh, I don't know if I saw that. Was it Kirk that left that comment?
I said 60. I'm only 50. I mean, I had the beard first. He had the long hair first, maybe. But come on, I'm only 50. This 22-year-old left that comment.
That's right. 60-year-old Derek Trucks and his Boomer Benz. And his dad guitars.
Oh my gosh. All right. One thing here though is you can kind of see that Gibson wall that nobody can see.
Right. We've threatened to make that another vignette area for maybe a fireside chat. We should take a page out of Paul Reed Smith's book where I think he goes to Jack Higginbottom. He's the CEO. They do the fireside chat. We could do our state of the channel from back there.
There you go. Sprinkles asked what your favorite guitar is.
I would have to say, I play the Silver Sky all the time, the SE, but I would probably say my PRS single cut hollow body. It's
The
very
silver
light.
one.
Yeah, it's got Starla pickups in it. It's kind of unique. I like that one a lot.
If I had to guess what your favorite was, I guess I would have probably picked that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the go-to for a very, very long time. And then I just got lazy. Well, I think part of what happened was when we haven't done an episode on it, but I had the Hendrix 50. I think once I got that amp felt so guitar specific that by the time I set it up for a single coil guitar, I didn't swap out guitars nearly as much. I tended to play the Strat or the Silver Sky because of that.
Right.
Although I've gotten over that a little bit. I use either a compressor or something to kind of compensate for the output of the pickups.
I bet you can't guess what I would say.
The Gold Gretsch.
Yeah, yes. No. So for me, it'd be the PRS McCarty, probably the red PRS McCarty you see in a lot of the videos. Although you don't see Pat's favorite in many of the videos, but he normally has like one down here that he swaps in and out. That black one's been down here for quite a while.
Right.
So yeah, my wife's the PRS McCarty.
Yeah. Yeah, that black one's the only PRS family guitar that doesn't live with the other ones. He lives at your house. That one kind of stays there too because those Dragon pickups are hot. I think it fits a space that I don't know that we necessarily have in other guitars down there.
Yeah, well, you've had other ones. You had your Gold Top, your PRS Gold Top down here for a while too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Number two used to be for me. Number two used to be. Do I know my husband or what? Yes, the PRS McCarty. I'm impressed that my bubbler mom down here. It's not my mother. It's my wife who's still stuck. Email from when her kids were in school. I used to always take the Swamp Ash as my backup, but I really do like the white Strat now. I've been playing that a lot. But it's hard for me to go single coil as my second favorite.
Right.
That SG Junior with the 1P90 pickup in it, you can't use it all the time, but when you can, man, I love that thing too.
Right.
Sprinkles, what's your favorite guitar? Of course, we asked that, and then we got to wait in the chat for it to catch.
That's right.
And
the way that he spelled favorite, he's not next door. We have to wait for the satellites.
Oh yeah.
What's my second? Well, I keep coming back to the Silver Sky SE. I guess because I've just gotten so used to it. There's the one for the show, the one that's in the videos. I have basically that same year in the Moon White or whatever. I tend to play that one a lot. You coming up?
So you like this better than your Strat? You have several Strats.
I do play that American Strat a lot on Sundays. I do like that. I do like that American Strat. I probably play that more. I've been playing the Silver Sky SE out when I play out, but I do play that American Strat on Sundays.
So, speaking of the Swamp Ash special, we got in one of the new SE ones.
It's a good looking guitar.
Yeah, I almost feel like I should go grab that.
You could.
Because I probably should, just so we show at least one guitar.
Yeah, they can look at the Gibsons while you walk away. Yeah, we got a couple new SEs to try out because we really liked the ones that are coming out of Indonesia.
I can't get over that neck.
Yes, I do. I do like that a lot.
So that's a new, and I forget on the website these are still like on sale. They're no, I think Sounds had a maybe not. I think they had a blem.
Okay, because I feel like that 20%, which actually was obviously authorized by PRS, that was part of their state of the company fireside chat. I think that ended end of the year. I think they were saying a lot of dealers in general were getting hit with backlog stock. Man, that is nice. I love those birds. And like you said, it's too bad you can't feel the neck through the live stream here because it feels great.
Yeah, it has. It's almost like they didn't finish it or something.
Right.
I don't know.
And I don't know if that.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a new thing coming out of the factory because I started talking about the Silver Sky SEs. I have 3 of them now, and we have one for the show. So the moon white one that I play and the I'm trying to get the colors right here, the blue one. Those necks are very similar with a finish on them, but I have 2 other ones that are kind of like that, but they don't feel as good as that one. But they're like unfinished like.
But I mean, the neck, the fret ends, perfect. I don't know. There was a big discussion on the PRS page recently about SE. I didn't really follow it, but I got the gist that this discussion was like some of the real PRS snobs out there, like, if it's not American, it's not a real PRS, and like we're really dogging on the SE guitars. We've had a lot of them come through so far.
And my question to them would be, because I had a visual problem with them before because I love the carve in PRS core models, and the original SE line was just flat as a pancake, so it didn't even look like a PRS to me. And so I think I had a visual mental problem going in, and I can't say that I loved them when I played them because I played a number of them, but I never had a desire to have one. And then I might have got caught up a little bit in the hype of the Silver Sky, but then we got into DGT, and then the ones we're getting in are very different.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah, the Pauls. I still really like the Pauls guitar, but this is a nice looking guitar. You're right; it doesn't have nearly the curve or the carve.
I think they're calling that a shallow violin. I can live with that. I need to see a little bit of curve on my PRS.
That's a cool looking guitar.
And I like the birds. The birds go really well, especially with that color.
But I don't know. Not sure there's a whole lot of people here to even show it to. So
right. Do a screenshot and put it on Insta. Well, and we'll get into it. Even between the 2 that we just got in, that Swamp Ash SE and the 2408, those have completely different finishes on the necks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I didn't see back to that. I didn't see the chatter on that group, but certainly I had zero interest in SEs before. But when you start getting an artist involved with them, so maybe it's the signature ones, maybe not totally. but they did the Silver Sky, then they did the DGT, and then somewhere in there the Paul's guitar came out. I think they're just really kind of hitting their stride in Indonesia. They work real hard with them in training, and they bring them to the U.S. They go to Indonesia, so I really think they made big strides. If an artist like a John Mayer is going to put their name on something that's the offshore version of it, I'd like to think that it's right. We have still yet to do the core Silver Sky versus the SE, but through the magic of Zounds, I'm sure we could do that at some point.
There's only one problem with that.
I'll keep it.
We want to keep
I
it.
better make sure I get to choose the color. We usually just kind of take whatever Zounds sends to us, but I might have to be pretty specific on that one.
Well, I often try to choose the color that I think nobody will like because I don't want it is it's a huge problem. It is. It's a huge problem. We try to put things on the channel that we like, so you're ordering stuff that you like, and then you want to keep it all. But we're trying to, there's no need to. I don't know. My wife said that she was bouncing to work on her paper. It's about time she gets her homework done.
That's right. Your child bride. That's actually her office back there behind you.
What's that?
I said that's actually her office behind you. Your child bride, and she does all her work in that little office down there.
In the little door.
Yeah.
That's where I keep her at night.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Precious rubs in the rubs in the lotion.
Precious.
I'm thinking, what's that movie, Silence of the Lamb, where he's keeping the girls? It's terrible. Yeah, we've had the Paul's guitar I really liked. The DGT I really liked. And then we got the Paul's guitar and I didn't like it as much. And then we sent the Paul's guitar back and I played it again live. And I'm like, oh, I really like this. I think I've used it I don't think I used it last week, but about 2 weeks in a row before that, I took
the DGT, right? Yeah.
The Hollow Body 2 piezo, that was really cool. The McCarty was cool. It's really weird that the PRS McCarty is my favorite guitar, but the PRS McCarty SE was probably my least favorite SE.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't dislike it, but it was like, okay, that's one we can send back. I'm all right. Terry 3Gs popped in.
Yeah, hey Terry. How's Canada? Is it cold there? It's cold here.
It is cold here. It's like 18 degrees right now. Of course, it's probably a heat wave in Canada this time of year.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was there another one? Paul's, DGT, McCarty, SE, or Hollow Body, Silver Sky. Now we have the Swamp Ash, and then the 2408.
Yeah.
So that's 7 different SEs. And I used to own one of the only guitars I've ever sold.
Well, you traded it, right?
Yeah, I had a Soap Bar 2. And they were cool. But I traded that Michael Dolan guitar. That was part of the trade for that. Appreciate that, Terry. That's awesome.
You know how you know you're at your grandparents' house? When you have 2 lollipops in your hand.
Nice. That's what grandparents do. Give them sugar.
That's right.
And send them home.
Send him home.
We took Madeline to a basketball game the other day, and a former student of mine came over, was talking to us, and he offered her a lollipop. I'm like, sure she can have a lollipop.
Right.
After the game. No, it's cold there. Minus 7 degrees Celsius with snow pending.
We've had a couple snowstorms, but nothing like major. We were supposed to have a really big one, a couple weeks ago? We got like 6 inches, maybe. 7 degrees Celsius. Someone has to do the math on that for me.
Well, zero is freezing, so it's 7 degrees Celsius below freezing.
Oof.
So what's
Okay.
freezing here? 32 Fahrenheit?
Yeah, that'd be like 20, 25. I have them.
Probably somewhere in there. But
Needless to say, it's cold.
So anything else we need to? Would you think it'd be nice to? I'm interested to hear if anybody noticed the changes in the video or today.
Right.
I haven't heard
Right.
anything yet. I'm waiting for Barber to watch it, and I'm sure he'll
Yeah.
give me some feedback.
I think from a visual perspective, it was good. I mean, I don't know how technical we want to get into this, but you know how they had the preferred vocal setting for YouTube, and I think you tried that. I think right where it
Yeah.
bounced on the red but didn't stay there. Did you do that with guitars, or did you just leave guitars the way you normally do?
So did you think the guitar? Better question. Did you think the guitars were too loud or not as loud?
They may not have been as loud, but I felt they were kind of balanced with the vocals. Because a lot of times I'd be watching one of our videos in the car or on my phone, and the guitar would come up and it would be significantly louder than the vocals. I don't feel like I noticed that this last video.
Okay, that's good. So I rarely mess with the guitars unless you record something that is like sometimes if you're playing like the Silver Sky through a tremolo and you're doing arpeggio picking, that track comes over really low.
Right.
And then sometimes I'll boost the gain on that. There's a button in Premiere where you can like set all the gain to 0 or whatever, and it just bumps up the sound wave a little bit. But I felt like I had to do that a lot on this round. Like I felt like I was bumping ones that I normally wouldn't bump. So if there's anybody still with us, there's what's it called? We switched from GarageBand. We've been doing GarageBand forever because it works. I mean, we're recording 1 amp and 2 vocal mics. But we switched to Premiere's Audition. And so that links right with Premiere Pro, which we edit the videos in. So we did that, but then we also went from 2 vocal mics, 2 condenser vocal mics, to 1 Rode NTG.
Shotgun.
Yeah, shotgun mic.
Shotgun.
And so I think that mic, and you know, when I sit over here and look at it, it is really off. That's why I was asking you about like the boom arm. If we could just center that between us a little bit more,
right?
Because I think what happens if you're high, then when I boost you, you know what I mean, or if I'm high, that's what we always struggled. I always struggled with. We had the 2 mics. Sometimes I'd have to go in and like clip things that you set out individually and just boost that one line.
Oh,
yeah.
Oops.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen all the time, but sometimes I had to do that. But I think the big change is just getting those, getting the camera and the microphones out of the way. The pedal cam I didn't think looked as good.
Yeah, it may not have been as sharp, but I'd almost have to do a side by side.
But again, I think it's things that you don't. It's not different enough that you don't notice that you notice it. Maybe,
right?
Like I don't think anybody's noticing the fact that we took the microphones and the camera out of the shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's going to see that and go, "Oh my gosh, there's a huge difference here." Now if they watch it if they're following along and they watch 5 or 6 videos and then an old one comes up, they might go, "Oh, what's that stuff doing there?"
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think they're going to see it go away, but I think they'll see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they might not have noticed this week, but I agree with that. If they start, keep watching the new videos and then see something they want to go back and look, they'll be like, "Oh, that's different."
When I did the envelope filter short today, I went back to those videos. I thought we were sitting on the couch. No, we were sitting on the stools in front of the couch, but it still just looked so weird. Oh, man.
Yeah, there's quite the evolution.
That's crazy. Anyway. All right. So, we've been doing this an hour. Here, wait, we got 2 more comments. Let's see what Sprinkles has to say, and then maybe head out. I read a comment that said the chats you make are useless and boring. Surely someone will agree with him, but I also wanted to tell you that about the commentary. There'd be no, yeah, difference. Maybe I shouldn't read out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the funny. I mean, people, since we first started doing this for 5 years, people have been like blah blah blah. Less talk, guys. Less chat. You know, but we didn't start out to do this to please those people.
Right. We still made it to 5,000 somehow.
Oh man, I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be a jerk about it either. But we really like the whole reason this channel started was like, hey, you have a lot of gear and I have a lot of gear. Wouldn't it be nice to sit down and like talk about and play that gear? And that's how the channel started.
Well, I think one of our early series group names was "You Should Try This," and that was usually just I had a piece of gear. And I'm like, "You should try this," and you had something. You should try this. So yeah, we didn't start with some kind of formula. We didn't go to YouTube school and figure out all of the. This is what attracts viewers. We're just like, this is what we want to do, and some people will like it, and some people won't, and it kind of is what it is.
Well, yeah, and it's never been about selling stuff.
No, we have tried to play more. Like when we get a guitar, we do 5 or 6 clips, or we get a pedal, we do the same thing and try it with different guitars. So we are cognizant of like, okay, maybe we should balance out the talking with playing, but we're still not trying to follow some formula. We do react to some of the feedback, but we don't live and die by it.
We're not well, I've been telling Pat since too. If people want to trash us, like how sad. I mean, I picture this dude like in his parents' basement. He's like, 40 years old, 50 years old, my age, living in his parents' basement, doesn't have a job, is miserable, the world hates him, and he's down there blasting us because we talk too much, or because he doesn't like the way we play, or because he thinks the guitar that is running through a Leslie pedal is out of tune or whatever. And like if that's the high point in his day, then I'm happy to have been of service. Like,
right. If we can be fodder for someone.
Like, I mean, if that's where he's finding joy, then I feel so. I wish that he could find a way to find joy beyond that, but
right.
I'm not gonna let it. I'm happy to have been of service, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But
bringing joy to one disgruntled viewer after another,
and it totally has never been about selling stuff. Like, I mean, Zounds is cool. They called us. We didn't call Zounds. That was the first for us. They called us up and said, "Hey, look, we want to work with you. We want to help you out. We want you to be able to do this. No pressure from us. You don't owe us anything. You don't even have to mention us, but we'll send you stuff if you want to try it out and use it on your YouTube channel." Right. We're like, that's really cool. So we do put their affiliate links down there. It doesn't really get us anything. I mean, it would if people used them. But people click on them, and if they're willing to support what we're doing like that, I do want to throw business back to them. But it's not like we've ever maybe once or twice in the 5 years have we been like, no, buy this pedal.
Right. Yeah, you were like, yeah, you should buy this one, and it's not because someone's like, hey, every time you say you should buy this one, we're going to give you $10.
No, I think we've maybe said that one time. Probably the DLS Echo Tour.
Yeah, maybe. Probably on one hand in 5 years, if that.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly doesn't bad, On the same time, I think there's been 2 or 3 pedals that we have not put out because we didn't like them.
Right. We want to be honest with something we get in, especially, but if it's something everything we've gotten in is something we wanted, except for a couple times people were kind enough to send us stuff up front a handful of times. Then every other thing it's what we wanted to try out. And if we tried out something that we really didn't like, we just kind of passed on a couple of those. And other ones we just like try to talk about the upside of it.
What was the hardest pedal we ever did What was the hardest one to find something? What was the hardest one? What was the hardest piece of gear for you to find something nice to say about?
Man, well, was it the? I hate to throw a thing out because it could be wrong, but was it the? It was a super inexpensive pedal. Was it the Lure, the shimmer thing? I thought, oh, I can get shimmer for $40. Well, you know what $40 shimmer sounds like? $40 shimmer. It was very electronic, very analog,
Oh,
very brash.
yeah, we played that
The
pedal.
Soul Shiver, not Soul Shiver. I forget what it's called.
We tried to dial that in for like an hour,
Oh, we gave it our best shot.
and then we didn't even record that, right?
No, we're like, what's the point? Like, why are we gonna potentially trash a $40 pedal? It's like it's a $40 pedal. Now on the flip side, you play a $40 pedal that's amazing. We're like, let's do it. Like the Behringer TS808 or whatever, not the TS, their version of the Tube Screamer. We're like, that was a $25 pedal, and it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
don't want.
I forgot about that reverb pedal.
Oh yeah, we really wanted it to work, like, because that's when we were trying to, we play in the praise and worship space because I'm a music leader at our church and Jason plays with me, and so shimmer was kind of a thing. We're like, oh, can we get some textured sounds, and so let's just dip our toe in it and see if we can get something out of this. No, could not.
Yeah, that was bad.
There's been a few other pedals.
I'm sorry.
There's a few other pedals that took us a while to get to something that was okay, but I think that was almost as much as a lack of understanding and user error than it was the pedal. Like that perfect example was the discussion we had about envelope filters at the beginning of this chat.
Do you know
some are more complex than others?
For me, I think the hardest one, and we did do a video about it, and it was a positive video, but we were very honest, I think, if I remember correctly. At least I was very honest on why it was positive. It was the Joyo, the Visions,
that multi-effects one, right? That had like yeah.
And I said at the end, if you are just getting into pedals, just getting into playing guitar, and you want to know what like a tremolo and a Leslie and a rotary or a Univibe, all these different things are, this would be a good inexpensive pedal to get to be able to tap into all those things.
Right.
I might have even said not for somebody who wants to put it on their board to go out and gig with on a Friday night. Because there was like a latency thing in it a little bit. I just didn't think the sounds were all that great. But I thought it was good for that. I mean, I thought for that it was good. But it was probably the hardest, maybe the most uncomfortable I was. Does that make sense? Like, am I comfortable? That I felt like that video walked the line of, should we have done that video?
Well, yeah, and if my recollection is not the best, but let's say it probably had 11 sounds. I think we only did like 4 of them. We did the ones that were like, okay. The other ones are like, I don't know what to do with that, or I don't like the way that sounds.
Yeah. But other than, I mean, those, wow, that's interesting that you brought up that, because I've totally forgot about that reverb pedal we tried to bailed on. I know there was a couple other things that we tried and we didn't get through, but that was definitely one of them. That Vision pedal's kind of, I don't want to say haunted me, but I mean, I've always, and I think it's been watched a lot. But I mean, if somebody listened to the advice at the end, I don't feel bad about it.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. No, I thought that was good, because any one of those individual pedals, as we found out, could cost you a lot of money to just go investigate it. And so if you can get something that's some level of a facsimile of that, we'll try it and see if you like it. Do you even know what Leslie does? Do you know what a harmonic trem is? Do you know what an envelope filter does? Like, I'm saying that because probably before this channel, I hadn't delved into a few of those things. I've heard them a lot, but I probably didn't know what they were. I never realized the solo in the Edie Brickell song was an envelope filter.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
Everything about that song was cool when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then she married Paul Simon.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. Yeah, I think they're still together.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, she's a songwriter, singer, and he's probably one of the greatest American songwriters of all time.
Right.
At least my humble opinion.
No, for sure.
Anyway, that was a great comment, Sprinkles. Thanks. That there's a rabbit hole for you, but it's not. You know, I was thinking about it earlier today too. Like, there's a niche in this world of YouTube, because sometimes I look at, like, I was watching our buddy from, oh my gosh, Pat, his name, went to Berkeley, moved to Nashville.
Sebastian.
Yeah, I was watching Sebastian play earlier today on Instagram, and I was just like, man, I'll never play like that. I'll never be good. Like, that is just crazy good. Some of the stuff he was playing. And but, you know, for every Sebastian, I mean, there's guitar players that Sebastian sits in front of, and he's probably thinking the same thing, right? I'll never be that good. I'll never play like that. And there's levels over the whole way. So,
yeah, for sure.
I don't know. So there's a niche in there somewhere. Anyway, okay, hour and 11 minutes. You got your grandchild over there.
Mm-hmm.
Should we wrap it up?
I think his mommy wants to go to the store. So this is real life over here, yo.
You can take it.
Kitchen.
Oh, well, we're at 5,000 subscribers.
All right. Well, we just talked somebody right out of it. We just wanted to redo this whole thing, so we're trying to get 2 people to unsubscribe and pretend like we hit it again for the first time.
Yeah, so we can do it and actually, like, refresh it the whole time.
Right.
Well, that's why I said you never go into like 5-10, because whenever you get to that one you've been going for, it always goes back a couple just right at that point. Anyway. All right. Well, if you're still out there, anybody, thanks for stopping in.
Yeah.
We should probably do live stream some other time, some more.
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back, and we'll have to go back and watch the 19 Conversations streams to see how we did these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when we really made a lot of great connections with people, because I think people were available and they were interested. You know, we had Josh Scott and Jamie Stillman and Lawrence Petros, like people that maybe had the pandemic not hit, maybe would or wouldn't have. You know, we got Brian Ewald from PRS. We got Dave Weiner from PRS and Vise Band. But, you know, some of those were connections of connections, but some of those were just like, all right, I like what you're doing, or I'm interested. I got some free time.
Right.
Bob Bradshaw. Yeah, exactly. I mean, David Barber hooked us up with a few. We really appreciate that about Dave. But so, yeah, go back and see who we can revisit and forge some new relationships.
King seems to think that's a funny thought. All right. Should I end it?
I think you should.
I think I'll end it with, do you want to do the tagline, and then I'll hit the thing, and then we'll hit end and see what happens?
Yeah. Coming to you live from my kitchen, celebrating 5,000 subscribers at the moment. PG, on behalf of the Beard, reminding no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Here we go.